How Singapore got crazy rich. This country is smaller than New York City. It has no natural resources, no oil, no gold, not even enough land. And yet, it is the wealthiest nation in Asia and one of the richest countries in the world. How? How did a tiny island with nothing become a global financial powerhouse? This is the story of Singapore. From poverty to power. In 1965, Singapore was expelled from Malaysia. It was poor, uncertain, surrounded by bigger neighbors. Unemployment was high, housing was inadequate, the future looked bleak. But one man believed this small island could defy the odds. His name was Lee Kuan Yew, and he had a bold vision. Step 1. Survive through manufacturing. Singapore had one major advantage, and that was location. It sits along the Strait of Malacca, one of the busiest shipping routes in the world, connecting the Indian Ocean to the South China Sea. Nearly 40% of global trade passes through this region. Lee knew if Singapore couldn't rely on natural resources, it would rely on strategy. So he turned the country into a manufacturing hub. At first, it focused on labor-intensive industries, textiles, ship repair, electronics assembly, to reduce unemployment fast. But this wasn't the end goal. It was just the beginning. Lee always intended manufacturing to be a stepping stone. Step 2. Invite the world. Instead of protecting local companies, Singapore did something radical. It opened its doors. It welcomed multinational corporations. It kept corruption almost non-existent. It built efficient infrastructure. It made regulations business-friendly. Today, over 4,000 multinational companies have regional headquarters there. Why? Because Singapore's corporate tax rate is just 17% and even lower for certain activities. Global giants like Google, Microsoft, and ExxonMobil operate in major offices in Singapore. The message was clear. If you want stability in Asia, come here. Step 3. Build a knowledge economy. When Goh Chok Tong took over in 1990, he continued attracting foreign investment. But Singapore didn't stop at factories. It shifted toward finance, technology, biotech, and innovation. It invested heavily in education. Universities like National University of Singapore became globally ranked institutions. Singapore wasn't just making products anymore. It was producing talent. Step 4. Become Asia's financial vault. In 2004, Lee Hsien Loong, the son of Lee Kuan Yew, became Prime Minister. He understood something crucial. To stay rich, Singapore needed to be irresistible, and the timing couldn't have been better. China and India were booming. New billionaires were emerging across Asia. Singapore positioned itself as the safest place to park wealth. It allowed casinos like Marina Bay Sands to open. It strengthened private banking. It protected capital. The results were staggering. Assets under management in Singapore grew from around 420 billion in 2004 to 3.6 trillion by 2022. That's nearly a tenfold increase. Singapore became Asia's wealth vault. The secret formula. So how did Singapore get crazy rich? Not luck, not natural resources, but strategic geography, ruthless efficiency, low corruption, business-friendly taxes, long-term planning, political stability, and above all, disciplined leadership. But there is another side. Singapore's success hasn't come without criticism. Some argue its political system limits opposition voices. The ruling party, the People's Action Party, has governed since independence. Supporters call it stability. Critics call it controlled democracy. Yet for some Singaporeans, the trade-off has delivered prosperity, safety in one of the highest standards of living in the world. Singapore proves something powerful. A country doesn't need science. It doesn't need oil. It doesn't need luck. It needs a vision. From a struggling port city in 1965 to one of the richest nations on earth.